Hey everyone, Joey Ragona here for another testimonial slash interview with one of my awesome strategic profit lab students, and we're going to go through a couple things here. And what I like to do is these progress types of reviews for you, where the person that I'm interviewing is kind of still along the journey. They're not quite all the way to the end yet. And I think these are awesome value to you, just so you understand what other people are going through that you might be in the same boat as well. So you can relate to how to build your own business as well. A lot of these testimonials, like I said, don't have big results, and some of them do. And we're just trying to get people in here that are doing it for real. The people that are going through the struggles and building their business, by being very committed to what their purpose is, because that's really the people that I love to work with. It's people who have a big purpose to change the world in a better way with the stuff that they're doing. And today I've got Robyn Boyce, she's from Pride Fitness, Health and Wellness, and she's on the call today. She's actually helping women live a healthy, happier life. Robyn, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. I started off as a personal trainer and was doing just your typical, fitness classes and work, one-on-one personal training. And although I liked it, and although fitness is a big part of being happier and healthier, I started to realize that it just is actually a small piece of the puzzle. And I wanted to get away from women thinking that you needed to spend hours in the gym several days a week in order to be healthy and happy. It's not that simple, and fitness doesn't have to be that time consuming. So I wanted to develop a more well-rounded program with all the components. Certainly fitness is one of them, nutrition is one of them, but other key things like sleep and stress that I do a lot of work with my clients.
Is there a specific group that you work with, like a range of women, like age groups or anything like that? What is the specific avatar?
Sure. My specific ideal female would be female, generally 35 to 40 plus.
Okay.
Women that are sort of already set, with their careers, and, they have all that under control. They're not worried about other things, and it's time to tackle that aspect of their life.
And so that was a big component of actually getting your course together, right?
Yes.
Getting that avatar kind of nailed down.
Oh yeah, that did take a lot of work, and realizing how important it was to be so specific.
So, we're going to jump into some of those questions a little bit later, but what I really want to kind of do like a sidestep here for a second, because there's a backstory between you and I, and you're now on the SPO. How long have you been in the group? Can't remember now.
I've been in the group probably a year.
Has it been that long?
Probably the group a year, but we haven't been.
The paid membership. How long have you been in the paid membership?
The paid membership.
Working together.
Only. I think I joined this year, or maybe
So
within
maybe 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, within 6 months.
Okay, so just want to give a context to anybody listening, like that it's not been a long time that we've actually been working closely together.
Actually, I think it was like a new year, like a new year promote, it was just like right around Christmas or the new year.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. So we met, this is kind of cool because we met on a plane going to California, right?
Yeah.
And this is kind of cool as well because it's a sidestep to like how you actually attract customers, because you're awesome. All the customers inside the SPL, they're all awesome people. And I did a video on this on my Facebook page. If you guys want to go check it out. Robyn is the one I'm talking about. So can you share the story of how we met?
Yeah, sure. So I was with my husband, but I was also with my whole family, my parents, my 2 sisters and their significant others. And we were going on a family vacation to California because we have family there. And we flew out of Toronto, and I get on the plane, and my husband and I sit down in our seats, and I have, obviously just a random man beside me in the 3rd seat, window seat.
An introvert, by the way.
So I found out I'm not an introvert, and I am quite comfortable with meeting new people, and I welcome it. And I think I was just I was excited, obviously, going to California. And my husband was kind of just doing his own thing. I think he brought his book. He was on his phone, and he hears me talk enough. So I think maybe we just said hello to each other because we were sitting next to each other. And I honestly can't remember how the conversation got sparked, but we were just sort of chit-chatting before the plane took off, while you're waiting. And it just came out that you were sort of a business and marketing coach. And I was just sort of in the midst of starting that venture, especially my online venture.
And this was 2 years ago, by the way.
Oh yes, 2 years ago.
Right.
I was already a personal trainer working with one-on-one clients, but I was really toying with the idea of breaking into the online world. And so we got talking about that, and all of a sudden the plan was landing, and literally 5 hours later, we did not stop talking. My husband was mad at me. He's like, that guy's going to think you're nuts. Like, stop talking to him. He probably wants to sleep or do his own thing. He kept nudging me like, you talk too much. But I mean, I felt like the conversation was
it was such an amazing. It was. And, I mean, it's so true, because like I said, I'm an introvert, and it's not that I'm an idiot. I say hi to somebody beside me, but then it's like put my headphones on, do my reading, or watch my iPad or something like that. And I'm just not one of those people, unless you spark a conversation like, hey, do you have anything to do with marketing or business? Like, forget it. Right?
Yeah.
It's all over.
Well, and I'll say too that there was never the conversation did scare me a little bit, because it made me realize that I'm maybe a little farther behind. I think I was just like excited. I realized I was a little farther behind than I maybe thought. But at the end, I mean, we landed, said our goodbyes, and social media these days, I was like, I'm friggin' gonna seek that guy out. Like, I'm gonna look him up on, I think you gave me your name. Like, I don't know if you actually gave me an actual business card, but you gave me your name. And I was like, I remember packing up to get off the plane and like putting that in a special place, because I was like, awesome. I have another week to go before I get home. I'm not going to lose this. And I'm not good with names. I'm very forgetful. So I remember I put that in a special place so that when I got home, I could make sure I looked you up. It just so happens that we're geographically not close, but in the same, I mean, we both live in Ontario. So
yeah.
That was awesome to find out that you were somewhat close and local, per se. So that's the story. The rest is history.
And it's so awesome, because this is, and the reason why we tell this story is, one, to give the context of how we kind of met, which is cool, which is 2 years ago at the time of this recording. And then, so basically it took 2 years for you to kind of convert into a customer. And this is kind of really important, because it's part of how I perceive marketing and business and all that, is just by being cool to people, helping them out as much as you can. And if they turn into a customer, great. If they don't, they walk away. I'm assuming you walked away from that plane trip a little bit smarter, or a little bit more knowledgeable in something that you were interested in, right? And that's the whole idea behind, in my eyes, of business and marketing and helping people out.
Yeah.
Right? And then here you are 2 years later as a customer, which is freaking awesome.
And it's helpful for me being in a business also, and to remind myself of that it does work, and it's about nurturing that relationship, and and a saying that I love. Maybe I'll get it wrong exactly, but it's something along the lines of, a candle doesn't lose anything by lighting another candle.
Okay, beautiful.
So it's just about helping, and then, it'll come back if it's meant to come back to you.
Yeah, and even if it's not that specific candle or that person, right? It comes back in other ways, and it's just a great way of looking at life in perspective, right? Very cool. So let's get into your specifics on the Strategic Profit Lab, and you kind of already alluded to it by your story there, but what was your situation before joining? What was life like? What was business like before joining the actual paid program, like where I'm actually helping you one-on-one?
Right, the paid program. Well, it was very unfocused, and almost like, I had so much drive and ambition to get my business going. It wasn't a lack of drive. It was just a lack of direction. I didn't know where to focus that energy. And as a result, I was kind of all over the place, and, making things that might not have made sense. And you couldn't really see that because I didn't really know how to do it, and I'd been, you follow sort of those business gurus and you try to get tips from them and you try to do it on your own. And I had maybe a bag of some tools, but I didn't have all the tools, and the tools that I had, I didn't really know how to put them in place. So, that whole, like, you can't see the forest for the trees. Like, I just didn't really have any clarity or focus, and it was stressful for sure.
Okay. So that brings me to, let me ask you this. When you joined the SPL, then what started to happen then? What did the process look like for you? Can you explain it to anybody listening?
Well, initially, I joined, obviously, and then, immediately got on a call with you. You do these, I guess, business calls or every 2 weeks. And that I started to make sure I was on those calls. And although I'm comfortable with myself and speaking with other people, I was a little nervous to, be on the hot seat, be on one-on-one with you, because I was a little self-conscious about, how I've been spinning my wheels lately. I was a little nervous about what you were going to say, and other people are on the call. So, but then I just didn't want to miss that opportunity. I was like, it's go time. Let's be honest, I'm paying for this.
Right.
I need to utilize, put my money where my mouth is. I'm paying for it. I need to get the most out of it. So that started to happen. The calls were helpful. Even if I wasn't speaking, other people are on the call also. And typically they're going through at some point the same thing you did or the same thing you're going to go through. So the calls were very helpful. And I would say the group is actually pretty helpful just as a resource. I mean, there's so many people in the group that I'm constantly posting in there just, because at any given time I might have a question. I might not have the luxury of waiting for the 2 weeks.
Right.
So that's helpful too, because you're very on top of that. I mean, you answer questions in the group as well, the Facebook group. So
yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for that. I mean, you made some really good points there that, just watching other people on the hot seat or being coached, you learn from that, which is a big thing. And we do try to get, and I understand about the hot seat because I remember being on the hot seat, my very first coaching thing, and this was in a live environment. So it's a little bit more intimidating. And I remember that, doing that and being there and going, oh my God. And it kind of goes by really quick, right? What just happened there? Like, because you're trying to take in information and you're trying to explain what's going on at the same time. So we try to make those as comfortable as possible. And,
I remember you invited me on a call before I had joined to give me some to show me. And I remember thinking, I'm in way over my head. I don't have a single clue what they're talking about. But now I understand, now it kind of comes full circle. But it was that opportunity where I could see how the format and, after kind of calming down after being on that call, I realized okay, that's how it works. That's what I got to do.
Yeah. So. And, the other thing that I want to really point out to you is that, I mean, we are talking about the Strategic Profit Lab paid membership portion here in this video. And you brought up a good point, which is, hey, listen, I'm paying for this. I got to step up. And, a lot of people look at coaching, whereas is it worth it? Am I wasting my money? Should I be paying this much? Or is there a cheaper coaching or whatever it looks like? Or I need mentoring for free or coaching for free, or I want to get a membership or mentor for free and stuff. There's always these levels of stuff. But the point is that when you pay for coaching, you got to put your money where your mouth is, just exactly like you said, or you're wasting your money and you're not really serious about it. And that's one of the reasons why I encourage coaching, obviously, because, hey, I am a coach here, right? Let's be real. But I also pay for coaches too, because if I'm just sitting there getting free advice for somebody, I'm going, yeah, well, whatever, that sounds good. There's no skin in the game. And that's what I really want to emphasize. Whether anybody watching this joins us or they join somebody else, you still need to go and pay somebody else to help you move because of that, that motivation or whatever that is that you're paying money to get that advice, and you better go do something about it.
Yeah. And it's something as important as business. I mean, why wouldn't you, I'm a big believer in like you pay or you hire people to do what they do best. And, I don't do my own taxes. So, it doesn't make sense for me to sort of wing it. And it's like that in business. I have a lot invested in my business and I really want it to succeed. So I'm going to seek out the help because someone else knows better.
Awesome. Yeah. So then how has the process helped you over the last 6 months that you started?
Oh, well, like that direction I talked about, that clarity, really focusing my energy in the places it needs to be focused on in order for a positive outcome. Like I said, I don't know. I don't really know anything about, marketing or what steps to do. So if I'm getting coached on that, and I'm pretty systematic. So if I'm told what to do, I'll go and do that thing. And it's helped so much in that regard, giving me direction, carving out that path. I said, can't see the forest for the trees. Well, now I've started carving out that path and it's getting clearer and clearer of what that is going to look like at the end.
Right. And you know what, I got to really give you props for that because, you are one of the speed of implementation is one of your superpowers, which is awesome. Anybody watching this, take that as a cue in how to actually move the needle in your business. Because what Robyn does is she listens to an advice or a piece of information or something, and she just goes and does it. Now, obviously she wants it to work, and I'm putting words in your mouth. You could correct me if I'm wrong here, but you want it to work, but sometimes it doesn't work or whatever, but at least you went and tried it. And now you can knock it off that checklist and say, I don't like doing that, or this didn't work, or that worked better, or whatever. So this is one thing that I learned way back with Eben Pagan back in 2012. And I remember that specifically. He said, the key to success is speed of implementation, period. That's what it is. It's you learn something, you go to a seminar and stuff. Because how many people go to seminars, they buy a course or whatever, and they write down all these notes and they don't do anything with it, right? That's my alarm going off here. And so they don't do anything with it. But it's the people that go to the seminars and they write down something and they're like, oh my God, and they leave the seminar to go do that thing like right then and there.
Yeah.
Like major speed of implementation. And it's like, I've been in seminars and stuff where people are being taught marketing stuff. They learn a technique. They come back the next day and they're like, dude, whatever you said yesterday, I went and did, and I made $20,000 yesterday or whatever it was. Right. And they're not trying to show off. They're just trying to say, I went and did what you told me to go do.
Right.
And it worked, or it didn't work, or here's the result.
Yeah.
And so I really got to honor you for that, because that's the most important thing in the business.
Yeah.
Right. So what are the other things that you've been able to change by going through or being a member now in Strategic Profit Lab?
Actually, I'm glad you asked that, because I was going to add it on to what you just said. But again, I talk a lot, so I was waiting for you. I was like, I'll wait for him to ask me the question. But it's a good segue, because one of the things that I did learn, what was the actual question again?
It's like, what have you been able to change, and by going through all the training that we've been doing?
Right. So it's exactly what you just said, the speed of implementation. One thing that I've been able to do is there's a touch of confidence that you've given me to just go out and do it. And one of the things I've learned is I had to tell myself a lot at the beginning, and now it is coming second nature. It's that imperfect action. Like I had to get out of my head that everything had to be just so and in place, and I have to do this and then you stall. And I just, whether they were my excuses or, I am a planner, so I like to have things in place. But one of the things I learned is that, like, just who cares? Like, I'm going to look back at my first video and probably laugh, but who cares? I did it. Yeah. Like, I'm the one doing it. And I learned going through this process that I don't care what other people think. I'm the one putting, content out. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Or if you think it's silly, well, let's see what your video is. And it gave me the confidence to get out of my whole own head and do that speed of implementation. I'm like, if Joey says it, it must be good. I'm just going to go do it and see what happens, because at this point, nothing's been taken away from me. So
Yeah, because you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you may as well put it out and see what happens. And like you said, you're building up. There's so many other reasons why to do this in the technical pieces of it, or the building of the business, that we won't even get into doing that. But more importantly is what you just said, is getting out of your own head and thinking that you need all of the thing in place before you actually go do it, especially for people like you that are planners, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you want all those steps in place. And I remember when we first were speaking that you did want to have a lot of that stuff in place. I'm like, okay, well, you've got enough right now. Like you've got maybe 5 emails. Don't worry about the other 15 right now.
Yeah.
Let's put the 5 out and see what happens, right? And we kind of, helped you with that area too, which is awesome.
Yeah. I'll tell
And
you, that was a huge helpful piece. Sorry if I interrupted you. That
no,
was
not
a
at all.
huge helpful piece for me. That right there that you brought up was massive in my getting out of my own way.
Yeah.
And getting things out there. It actually was a sign of relief, actually, because I thought I still had a mountain of work to do.
Yeah.
So I was a little stressed and thinking, when the heck am I even going to get this stuff out there? And then you were like, no, whoa, like take a step back here. That's where the coaching comes in. Like that's where the direction comes from. I mean, I would have just been sitting there like plugging away for the next 8 months probably. But that's where the coach comes from, that accountability. No, like you have this, get it out there. What are you doing? Don't sit on this, go.
Yeah.
So
because that's the whole thing. I mean, I go through it too, believe me. I'm a coach for you guys. And if you see me inside of my coaching thing, when my coaches are looking at me, you'd be like, wait a second, is that Joey? Because I'm just as confused and overwhelmed and all this other stuff too, because I can't see the forest for the trees because I'm in it. I'm going, my God, and that's why I love, because I'm on coaching calls every Tuesday with a group, with colleagues and stuff too, that help me see other things that I'm not seeing. So that's why I just think this is the best thing for you to do. Whether it's Strategic Profit Lab, yes, join us because we're the best. If it's not, go someplace else. But, get some coaching because you need that direction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You might have already said this, Robyn, but going through the program so far in the training, what do you think is the biggest part that has made the most impact on you?
The confidence.
And you can repeat it if it's the same thing.
Yeah, the confidence in I'm on the right track. This is good. Get it out there. And I only get that from hearing you say it. So that's been. I mean, and I don't mean confidence in like my programs are good enough to be sold. Sometimes sometimes I felt like, well, who's going to buy my stuff? Like, who am I?
Yeah.
Like, why would they care about me? And so that's what I meant about confidence. Whereas, I have you, and it's like, no, good, go, like, get it out there. So I think that's been my biggest helpful tool and biggest breakthrough, I guess, in this business world.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And one last thing is for members that are already in the group and for people thinking of joining the Strategic Profit Lab, what is your one piece of advice for them? So if somebody was thinking about joining, what would be your one piece of advice for them?
Well, thinking of joining, I would say join.
That's a good
I would say make that conversion. I guess I would say, honestly, like, take it for what it is, utilize it, and because it works if you just follow those steps and trust in the process that Joey, knows what he's doing and he's here to help. Go for it. I would say trust in that Strategic Profit Lab process.
Awesome. Thanks so much. This has been an awesome time with you. It's so great to have you inside the group. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're an inspiration to so many people, and I know that you're going to help so many women. Let's keep pressing on. Let's get you out into the world more. Thank you so much, Robyn.
And thank you.
Okay. See you soon.
Bye.